Hello and welcome to Newsworthy Stories with Jacqueline Jimenez. A well known headshot photographer is getting inspiration from a 12-year-old golfer and young businessman. We're going to talk to him in just a minute, but first, let's take a look at what that inspiration led to.
Give me a second. All right, go.
The story of Carter Bonus of Spectrum Golf inspiring Daniel Wakefield of Top Tier Headshots to step outside his studio and onto the green. Daniel first met Carter and his mom, Dr. Thelma Tinney of the Healing Arts Institute of South Florida, after photographing their headshots. After hearing Carter's story, he wanted to do more for his campaign to raise awareness about autism and his line of golf apparel by creating a promotional video for him. So with the help of his neighbor, Tyler Gonzalez, who was holding the mic, the two began capturing Carter in one of his favorite habitats, the golf course.
Do that a couple of times. Action.
What's your diagnosis?
From the course, it was on to Top Tier Headshot Studio, where Carter, draped in his line of golf apparel, would share his story that was edited by Daniel's colleague, Donnie Gortz.
My name is Carter Bonus. I have autism, but autism doesn't have me. I was bullied because of it, but I took my greatest pain and turned it into triumph through the game of golf. Now I am the CEO of my own golf apparel line, Spectrum Golf. I'm a speaker, a sponsor, and I'm Sports Illustrated Sports Kid of the Year. My story is changing the way that the world sees autism. What's your diagnosis?
So joining me now is Daniel Wakefield of Top Tier Headshots. Daniel, what was behind the inspiration of shooting that story?
So, what we've talked before, Jackie, and talked about my involvement with, when I met Dr. Tenney, Carter's mom, and had the opportunity to do headshots for her. And then Carter showed up and they wanted some family photos. So I did that for them and just had the opportunity to learn about Carter and who he is and what he's doing. And man, I just felt totally inspired. I mean, when I was 10, 11, I did not have a business. I wasn't thinking about that at all. And here's this young man who has what many people might consider to be a handicap, and he's in a sense turning it into a superpower. And just his golf game, but also his entrepreneurial spirit. That really resonated with me. And so that first time they came in, I said to his mom, "Is it okay if I get a headshot of him?" Because I just thought this kid's going places, and I want him to start off with a great headshot
There you go.
right off the bat. But then just like seeing that, being connected with the family then on LinkedIn, and continuing to see that growth in his golf, in his involvement in the community, and in his business, just continued to inspire. And then kind of at the same time, concurrently, I was starting to dabble with some kind of corporate video as well, and doing that, working that into my business. And so I just thought, hey, there's a great opportunity there to just film something for Carter that would just really both, promote his clothing line, but also I think raise awareness for who he is and what he's doing.
And I first connected with Daniel, on LinkedIn because his headshots to me were just they just stood out. They were better than any headshot I had seen. And as we talked and as I began to cover stories about Carter, you brought this up to me a long time ago. I mean, way last year,
Yeah.
in the early, parts of it. So you're not like just jumping on the bandwagon. It just took us so long to get to the point.
It's
where
not
we
like
could,
any of us are busy or anything.
it took to get to the point where we could all, our schedules all work together, where we could actually go out and shoot it. And I just love the fact that you brought Tyler along with you. That was just, I love to see young people getting in on youth entrepreneurship. And I think without maybe even realizing it, you introduced him to something that could really be a career for him. Even that holding that microphone that could be something he could do on a regular basis.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So it's nice that you considered bringing him in. The other thing is just the fact that how you went out and shot it. So had you done a shoot like that prior to shooting the story with Carter? Did you have the opportunity to do it that way?
Similarly, I mean, as I'm sure with video, every project is custom and no two shoots are the same. So I've had similar ones, but that was really the first time where, it was capturing audio kind of on the fly in the field like that, hence the need for an assistant on that day. But I've done some other promotional videos like that for companies that have some interview footage and some a lot of B-roll where it's showing kind of behind the scenes of what's going on in the business. But yeah, Carter's was unique, and it was just amazing to kind of again see him at work and to see his game up close and how seriously he takes it. And just to be involved in that again was fantastic.
It was really funny. One shot I didn't use, I should have used it. I went back and forth whether to use this particular shot or not. But it was, I think, the first time that Carter was lining up his drive, a shot with his drive, and you were all the way to the ground and you were really close to the pin. Yeah. And you were like, as he began to just practice swing, you're like, hey, you're not going to, you're going to be really careful with that, right? You're not going to like take my head off. But it was really funny. And I probably should have added that, but it was just a great shot, of you're like, hey, I trust you, guy. I trust you,
Yeah, he's got enough skill that I wasn't too worried.
Well, thank goodness, right? Because he's had to do it a couple times. Just recently when I did the behind the scenes with UPS, and it was so funny, with Carter and UPS. He's a spokesperson now for their Be Unstoppable campaign. And one of the first thing Carter brought up, not the directors or the camera guys, is they had this huge drone. And the first thing Carter goes, well, I don't want to hit the drone. And, that's, even still, no, what 12-year-old is thinking that,
Yeah.
And Carter just has a way of awareness, and he was on it. He was like, listen, guys, I don't want to hit your, $1 million drone here, but this ball, when I hit it, I don't, so it was just that awareness. But even for you, because it was funny because you were lining up the shot and then you're like, hey, wait a second, this is a real club.
Yeah.
So one of the other things you have to realize is I'm a big Daniel Wakefield fan, because Daniel Wakefield caught my attention on LinkedIn. Because me, I love to show your work. That's my big thing, show your work. And Daniel has done that and gone, beyond that. And he always has fun. If you've never seen or connected with Daniel Wakefield on LinkedIn, do so, because he always has these fun shots of himself, his family, which I'm sorry, your wife looks like your sister, and you guys look related. And so it's just great to see, the family shots with them all together. But he does a great job. If you ever want to know what kind of pictures should I post on social media, Daniel does a really great job of that. And probably because he's a headshot photographer, he knows how to be creative and cool. So I want to give you some idea of what it would be like to have a headshot from Daniel Wakefield. And tell me about this person because I don't know who she is.
Yeah, so most people in our area probably wouldn't, because she actually flew in from California to get a headshot. I had done a headshot for somebody that she knew that works at an office here in South Florida, and she saw it and she thought, I want to get a headshot like that. And so she called me up and said, I'm just going to fly over to Fort Lauderdale one weekend and have a great time and get a headshot while I'm there. So that's who she is.
And
So again, the power of LinkedIn, of connecting people.
It's showing your work too. That whole thing, everything that you do, I mean, it always makes me stop when I'm scrolling through the feed. I can always stop at your headshot. So I try not to like every single one of them, But
it's okay, you can.
I know fine. I can't. I can't. Go ahead. Go ahead. But the other thing that has caught my attention lately was I have noticed you've been at least posting a lot more group shots. Mm-hmm. And I thought, wow, how smart is that? To have all your employees do a headshot. Talk to me about what's important about having your whole entire network do a headshot.
Yeah, so I actually just posted about this recent. I think it was on Monday this week. I did a post on that on LinkedIn. So to me, it's more than just, everybody needs to get a photo on your website. To me, it's about elevating your company's image. We're talking about like not sending everybody to JCPenney to get the cheap headshot, but to really, invest in your company and elevate their image and kind of make your people look great and they'll make your company look great kind of mindset. And also beyond that, I think that, employees value when they feel valued by their company and see their company investing in something that's actually valuable for them, which is a good headshot. Instead of, I hear stories all the time of, we just did headshots for a company and, everybody, they didn't like them and they were just, they went with a cheap solution, and it just did, the people didn't end up feeling valued. And the companies that have brought me in have really, the employees feel like, we're getting something that's actually useful for us professionally. And then also just as I think an employee attraction and retention strategy, when employees feel valued, they often want to stick around. Or maybe somebody on the outside is considering joining a company and they see, this company's they invest in their employees. I think there's value there. And then also, I always tell people, if you want to attract top tier clients, you need a top tier headshot. You need to, especially if you're in the business of wanting to attract high end clientele to your company, you need to look high end, and you need, that's going to be an investment, but the companies that are working with me are finding that it's more than worth it to do that. And this is, I love working with nonprofits as well. And so this is a nonprofit that came to me, and we ended up working together. And it was 90 people over 2 days. So it was a big job. It was a lot of work.
And the consistency. The other thing is you have consistency.
Yeah, exactly.
In your headshots across the board, it definitely speaks volumes to the organization itself when you have that type of consistency, as far as, because nonprofits live off donations. Yep. If I think that you're just being held together with pins and needles, a lot of times it's that's what they have to go by, is your website.
Yep.
And what's on your website, and how legitimate do you want to look? Well, it might not be something you think about, but people are looking for all that kind of consistency um, when they're choosing who they're going to help, even if you're doing a great thing. It just makes it easier for them to choose you.
Yeah.
And I talk about that all because nonprofits are also one of the people that um, Neighbors for Neighbors, if you're familiar with them,
Hmm.
they were born out of CBS 4 News in Miami, but I used to be their field producer. And
Mm.
so my love for nonprofits and actually the understanding of nonprofit and private business is kind of how Newsworthy Stories actually came
Mm.
about. There's a story to it, and that's why my connection is so funny that we're still connected. Um, my shows run on their newsletter, Neighbors for Neighbors newsletter,
Okay.
once a month, and well, because they put it out once a month. So one of my shows every month runs on the Neighbors for Neighbors newsletter, and it's just a great partnership. I'm still involved with Neighbors all these years, like 30 years later,
Hmm.
But I was their first official news producer once they actually, because they were born out of Hurricane Andrew.
Mm.
So, but I love nonprofits. Um, Specifically for a particular reason because they impact the community. But the partnership that they have with private business is what I'm able to really bring together. So
Yeah.
I love how you are highlighting their photos and helping them become more professional because it really is something that they need.
Mm.
So, but that's just one of the things that on the outside, it really does make a difference. The
Mm.
other thing I wanted to share was when you were shooting the story with Carter, you were, dabbling with creating these corporate videos. Can you talk to me a little bit more about, because I'm always telling these executives, it's okay if you work for a corporation, but you can always have a website, show your show your work because it gives you a place to show your work.
Yeah.
Show the places you've been, show what you're doing for your company. It gives you a place to, to show how you're being an executive. And I think the corporate videos that you've been doing since that video
Hmm.
um, have reflected that.
Hmm. Yeah, so I've been kind of came up with this idea of doing what I'm calling LinkedIn intro videos for people. And, LinkedIn gives you the opportunity to have a little 30-second clip in your profile picture that just automatically plays when you go to a person's page. But sometimes people might want to say a little bit more than just that 30 seconds. And we still try to keep it, pretty short and concise, usually like a minute to a minute and a half. But it just gives people a little bit of extra time to talk about, what's important to them, how they seek to give back to their network. Just really, it's a great opportunity to introduce yourself to your LinkedIn network and to people who might be interested in connecting with you. And so that's been a great opportunity. And sometimes people kind of stick with kind of the general, like introducing themselves, and other times people have kind of taken that format but used it for a different purpose. I had somebody recently who he's doing an online course, and he used that little video as an opportunity to introduce the course, and also to like kind of as a landing page for potentially getting new people to sign up for the course, to have this little clip on there as just a kind of a friendly introduction to what he's doing. So a lot of people have found a lot of usefulness in it. And people have been seeing really amazing return on their investment with those videos. One person in particular, we shot the video for him, put it up on LinkedIn. Within a week or two, he had an opportunity for a speaking engagement based on that video.
I was
So,
just going to say, I can see that for speakers.
yeah,
They would definitely be able to take advantage of your service in that regards, and consultants for that matter.
yep,
People need to hear who you are.
yep,
Again, this is
absolutely.
just a way to show your work, but saying I'm a speaker is one thing. Hearing, even a speaker's reel is different than what Daniel is doing. It's more storytelling,
Yeah.
and that's why I like it. It's
Yeah, and
more of
it's kind of, yeah, I kind of see it as like, a headshot, a good professional headshot is a great way to elevate your first impression on LinkedIn. And then this video is taking it to the next level of giving people even more opportunity to get to know you and who you are and what you care about and what you're trying to, the value you're trying to add to your network. I think there's just a great opportunity for that. That's why I did one for myself. It's on my LinkedIn page, and I just thought if I believe in this and I'm doing this for other people, then I need to do it for myself, because people need to, understand what it's like to work with me. So I did one for myself.
Oh, that's great. 'Cause I finally did a promo for myself. So I get it. I get it. It took me forever because I had to literally stop doing things for others to actually do it, to
Yeah.
pull all those videos together to make sense. But yes, it does take work. I'm so glad I have to go look for it now. And, so I was just really glad. I wanted to give you an opportunity, to share why you were inspired by Carter and to share a little bit more about what you do, because I am a Daniel Wakefield fan. And, but I also wanted to share this skill set that you have, because I think that you do it very well.
Thank
And
you.
so when we leave today, I want to show you at least one of those little videos as we, say goodbye. So if you want to get a hold of Daniel Wakefield, you've been, scrolling across the bottom, toptierheadshots.com, connect with him on LinkedIn, see how he's doing it, and always ask questions. I'm sure he'll be glad to answer them.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks for joining me today, Daniel.
Thank
And
you,
thanks for
Jackie. It was a
doing that
pleasure to be on
video.
again.
Yes, that's right. It's our second time. You're right. All right, then. Take care. Have a great week.
You too.
So I found Daniel on LinkedIn, just scrolling through the feed. Headshot popped up. I'm like, okay, that looks really good. And then once I reached out, it was pretty straightforward after that. Easy to get in touch with, quick and responsive. We scheduled the shoot, and it lived up to my expectations and much more. I'll be back as soon as possible. The studio is comfortable. Daniel's coaching is great. The hour and change went by like I just got here, so better than I expected. So initially I reached out because Daniel posted something about a LinkedIn video, and then seeing the headshots and having the whole experience, I think I'll have a good portfolio to use for various different media, whether it be the website, my actual posts on LinkedIn, and obviously the video when people click on the page.
What was the funniest thing I said during the session?
Something about my gallbladder. Make it jump or something. That got a good smile.
Love it. That's awesome.